I was a little bit nervous. Actually, I thought I was having a panic attack. I was the bride, for God's sake. I was supposed to glow, not look like a little sweat monkey. Now, this is the mid-'80s, and I was wearing a brand new fiancé on my arm, a diamond on my finger, a power suit with shoulder pads so big I have to walk into a room sideways, and hair even bigger because that's how we roll in Jersey. And even though I had grown up and moved halfway across the country, there I was, standing in a bathroom stall at the Olive Garden in Paramus, New Jersey, feeling like I was 14 years old all over again. You see, I wasn't just introducing my fiancé to my parents for the first time. I was introducing my hearing fiancé to my deaf parents for the first time. Two completely different languages, two completely different cultures, one completely whacked out bride. And this was just after I found the only wedding dress in the Northern Hemisphere which didn't give me an ass the size of Detroit. When Dan and I decided to marry, my entire being vibrated with joy and gratitude. I felt like every good deed I had ever done had been tallied up by the hand of God herself and reciprocated 100 times over. But I had never had much luck with this boyfriend-parent relationship thing. Either they didn't like him or he was uncomfortable with them, but I had to make this one work because he spent a lot of money on that ring. In the lobby of the restaurant, I see Dan looking cool, calm, and collected. He always does. It's not natural. Dan Clark is the guy you call when you run out of gas in the middle of the night and you got a body to hide. I turn to him and say, Dan, remember you said you loved me and would do anything for me? Well, the anytime thing has come. I need you to learn sign language before you meet my parents in the next few minutes. Dan looks at me and says, honey, I'd love to learn some signs, and I'm standing right next to you so you don't have to yell. I am not yelling! I grew up in a deaf house, so no one ever said, shh, be quiet. Okay, Dan, Mommy and Daddy are probably going to ask, they're probably going to ask you, what are they going to ask you? They're going to ask, how are you, and what are you going to answer? I will say, very good, thank you. You know you're a little intimidating sometimes. Great, that's easy. Now watch me sign. Very good, thank you. Very from the center out, that's important. Good, your palm faces heaven, thank you, straight from the chin. Very good, thank you, got it? Dan watches me with the concentration of a neurosurgeon operating on your brain. Dan, I say to him, Dan, sign language is a visual language, and the facial expressions are like the tone and inflections in your voice, and I love you, but right now you look like a goldfish when someone taps on the glass. Okay, facial expressions. I got it. See, I told you. Everything will be fine. Everything has to be fine. Everything has to be more than just fine. I mean, you see, they have to love him, and he has to love Dan, because, and it's up to me to bridge this huge communication gap, because I love them all so much. I'm pacing around the lobby like a squirrel in a box, my eyes darting and landing on nothing and everything at the same time. And when the door of the restaurant bangs open, all I can see is blinding sunlight streaming behind the black silhouettes of my parents because it was 5 o'clock and we were there for the early bird special. And I swear, I hear the sound of my mother's lone hearing aid whistling the theme of the good, the bad, and the ugly. This was going to be the final showdown, deaf style. Now my father's voice sounds like a foghorn echoing off of still waters. And my mother's deaf voice sounds like a Buddhist singing bowl hanging in humid air, and she loves to use it. I run over to hug them. Mommy and Daddy, I'd like you to meet Dan Clark. Dan, I'd like you to meet my mother and father. And Mommy looks up at me, and then down at Dan, and then they look at each other, and my mother says, Dan Clark looks so much short. I'm surprising. Maybe we should call him Little Dan. I can't believe she just said that. I mean, it's true. As a couple, Dan and I look like Sasquatch and Mini-Me. But she didn't have to say it. If she was a hearing mother, she would have never embarrassed me like that. So I signed very small out of the sight lines of everyone else, which is the deaf version of a whisper. Mom, you don't have to be so direct. It's not nice. That's the deaf way. It's not the hearing way. And my father sees that there's a little bit of tension going on, and he could always break the ice. He knows how important this is, so he uses his voice. Hello, nice to meet you. How are you? Dan stands there, looking proud. See, I told you everything would be fine. Fine? Did he say fine? Remember I said, very good, thank you, very from the center out? Dan sighed from the center in. He said, fucking is good, thank you. To my parents, who still think that I'm a virgin. What, Daddy? He doesn't know it's not me. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, at least he said it was good. I look at Dan and I say, Dan, put your hands down and step away from my parents. I do this with clenched teeth so they can't read my lips. I look around. I can feel that now I am the little sweat monkey. Why don't we go into the restaurant? We sit. I can see that my mother is not happy because there's not a lot of light. She says, not enough light, I can't see. If deaf people can't see, then they can't hear. So we get up, and it's my new fiance, and we move over to another table. And I'm always very conscious of where we sit, because a flying arm goes up in sign language, and there's a waitress with food all over the table. So I make sure to position my parents with their back towards the wall. Mommy, the waiter is here. Do you want something to drink? Oh, no. You know, Daddy no like me drink too much. Woo! Great. Now my mother sounds like a lush in front of my fiance who has just told my parents how much he enjoys having sex with their daughter. Come on, Mom. It's a celebration. So my mother looks around. I'll have penis colada. My mother did not just say penis, but judging by the fact that Dan's face finally has some expression on it, I know that she did. This was like Dante's 5th level of hell, only with unlimited breadsticks. Dan, she doesn't know what she's saying. She's deaf. Mom, it's pronounced pina colada. That's what I say. Penis colada. No, no, no. Mom, you said... What do you think they're going to bring me? And miraculously, everybody starts laughing. And I realize Dan is right, that everything is fine. Mommy and Daddy are fine. Dan is fine until I get him home. Even the waiter is fine. Later on that night, we all share the bottomless salad bowl and lasagna, heavy on the meat sauce because that's how we roll in Jersey. And we do it all family style. I watch the three of them gesturing and writing on napkins and laughing and laughing and laughing. And I realized that they have bridged this huge communication gap because they all love me so much. And right then and there, I knew that everything was more than just fine. Everything was good. Very fucking. And I want to add a little coda. My mother passed a year ago, and Dan was her best friend.